Welcome back to Marky Mark's Woodshop. Marky Mark, and this is the woodshop. Yesterday we did some more inlaying, and with the pieces now glued up above our surface, as you can see. So we got to get them down. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to have to plane these down. And then once we get close, we'll sand them. And this closely duplicates the picture of our inspiration. Although it's mission style, these inlays kind of remind me something out of the 50s. So, let me finish planing these down and I'll get back to you. Okay, it's time to sand. I've got my fine Multi-Master here with some pretty coarse paper in it so we can take it down to where we want it quickly. Alrighty, so it's finished sanding, and what I'm going to do is blow out the dust in between the little cracks and crevices where it wasn't quite a perfect fit. You can see where there's some gaps. And if you also notice, I filled the hole in the center of the circle using some oak dowels. That was Amber's suggestion, so we went ahead and did that. So the next thing we need to do is take care of these little crevices. And we're going to be doing that with putty. I've got some to match the walnut and some to match the hickory. Putty is my buddy. So I'm just going around and working the putty into all the crevices, and we'll come back and sand that. I'm just working it in. And I'm using the stuff that's more colored like the hickory. It's just a natural color. If I used the darker stuff for the walnut, it would make my shapes look horrendous. So this will cover it up. Alrighty, there's the crevices all puttied up. Obviously we're going to come back and sand those, and we'll use a finer sandpaper. Putty reacts much better with a finer paper. Oh, there's Amber. Say hello, Amber. Go ahead, you can do it.
Hello.
There you go. So, while the putty's drying, we'll figure out the next thing we're going to work on today. We got a lot done. Never enough, but we got the inlays sanded down and puttied in, filling cracks. So you can see a little white line there. That'll disappear more and more as we sand it. And we cut for the breadboards. They're not attached yet. I just got through cutting them. Our pieces that will slide out and support the what would be the writing area. For us it's going to be a workbench. I've cut the size and glued on some alder, which will be the face of it as it sticks out. They'll be somewhere around there like that. So those are being glued here. The hickory has the tongue, the alder has the groove. So they fit together thusly. And next we'll have to drill some holes through these where we're going to put some oak dowels to hold it all together. Oh, I had cleaned the edges up. I had to use the table saw to make the tongue and groove, but they required a little bit of cleanup. I was off about a 1/64 of an inch. So fortunately I have an antique rabbet plane. It's a Stanley Model 192, their last rendition of such a plane. And I noticed while I was using it, the blade has a coveted Sweetheart logo. It's a little heart with SW in the middle. I don't think the camera's going to pick it up, which dates back from the 1930s. So let's proceed with attaching these breadboards. I'm going to use some clamps to hold the boards together in place while I drill the holes. So let me go find some clamps and set that up. Okay, I've got it clamped up. I've used some pipe clamps, which are the strongest ones I've had, and some other clamps, and I've used call boards below it and where I'm squishing it to protect my work. So we can go ahead and start drilling some holes. So time to drill. I'm using a brad point bit, which will give me a nice clean cut, and I've got some blocks underneath to minimize tear out. So here we go. And unfortunately I got to move the blocks underneath as I go. And I'll just work my way down the line. There's the blocks I'm using. That's the worst of it, having to reposition them. So I'll just keep drilling one down the line on either side, and after that we'll have to take the breadboards apart and elongate most of the holes. And at this point, we don't want to get anything mixed up, turned around, or upside down, because we're going to have to put it back together and match those holes back up. That'll be fun. So, I'm not sure how I want to elongate the holes. Let me see if I've got an appropriate rat tail file. I want to make them longer, not wider, so I only want to go in one direction. Let's see. That might work. Trying to find a rest that's rough. Most of the ones I have are for chainsaws, so they're not exactly rough, so I may pick another method here. Okay, actually the ends I can. So yeah, this will be fine. It may take a few minutes extra, but this will go quick enough. I won't bore you with me filing it, but I'm going to go through each of the holes. That'll give me room for wood movement. Okay, we've got all the holes elongated, and I've only done that on the tongue because I want them to hold tight in the groove on the alder. So all we have to do is put the breadboards back on and line up the holes. That'll be fun. So we're just going to tap those back on. So let's see, we can do about both at the same time. It's actually looking pretty good. And of course I'll have to reclamp it also to keep it tight. So let me get this side on and I'll clamp it back up, and then we'll go on to the next step, which actually I'm forgetting something. We need to apply glue to the end boards and the grooves at this point because it's not coming back apart. I'll tell you what, I'll do that and put them back on, put them back in the clamps, and then we'll get on to the next process, which is anchoring them down with oak dowels, pins. And we'll go on down the line, get them all. And then we'll let the glue up set overnight. And we'll come back tomorrow and do some cleanup on this. So, there you have it. That's how it's put together. So, well, this piece is gluing up. We can't do much until tomorrow, so we'll come back and take that apart, clean it up, and figure out exactly where we're going to place it. And in the meantime, I'm going to have to go find some hinges and some hardware. So, until then, leave a comment, hit the like button, subscribe as usual, and all that good stuff. See you tomorrow.